So, in this guide, we're gonna do how to stop binge eating for good, autistic step-by-step guide. Okay, so let's just get into it. So, what is binge eating really? Binge eating is when you eat a large amount of food in a short amount of time and you feel like you can't control what or how much you're eating. If you binge eat regularly, at least once a week for 3 months, you may have a binge eating disorder. For me, this would happen multiple days or multiple weeks where I would binge eat. And there's a real issue in society where the data is mostly on women and barely on men. On average, a lot of more women have binge eating problem, but still men face it, and there's no one really to talk about it other than, me. But other than that, that's why there's a lot of issues with men because we have no one to talk to and it doesn't feel masculine to talk about it. So there isn't anyone who we can relate to or talk to. So for example, I would talk to families or I would talk to friends, and they wouldn't really understand it. They would just tell me, "Oh, just stop eating," or you know, just don't binge, and that really didn't help me. And I found the best way to do this is to actually talk to someone who has a binge eating issue in the past and who resolved it, because they're the only ones who can actually relate to you like that. So result is we keep it into ourselves because it would not feel masculine to talk about this issue to anyone, and that causes a lot of problems like shame, guilt, sadness, loneliness, everything like that. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is why listen to me. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor or licensed therapist, just telling you my story and what worked for me. So this was me in 14 years old. As you can see, I have white hips, men breast, and basically this was in 2016 when I was around 14 years old. That's when it actually occurred and started. So I was lonely, no friends, body shame. I had a body dysmorphia, and I didn't like how I looked. I was skinny fat, bullied, felt ugly. I just played video games like CSGO, WoW, like World of Warcraft, and LOL, which is like League of Legends. I don't know what the fuck I was doing in the gym, and I saw food as comfort. And that essentially led me to binge food, such as this. So I would get a lot of snacks, dessert, um, chips, Diet Coke, Nutella, and then second round would be like milk, and then more chocolate, Pop Tarts, Oreos, Doritos, you name it. I consumed it all. And the funny thing is, after that, I would actually go to the store and eat more. But my favorite foods were like Takis, Haagen-Dazs chocolate ice cream, mint Oreo chips, Doritos, donuts, Diet Coke, Nutella with bread, and then I would go back to my fridge and I would eat everything there that my family had. Fruits, vegetables, sweets, dessert, savory items, anything. And then I would go back to the store and I would buy more food and I would come back home and eat more. So that this was the cycle that I kept repeating for years, and yeah, it was just bad. So what happened is that I said, fuck it, I want to get shredded. So what I would do is in my friend's basement, I would be there for like hours just doing cardio on a bike. And I would also go biking in the morning around like 5 a.m. till 7 a.m. for like 2 hours. And that would be one of my ways to eliminate the binge calories, as I would just do cardio and I would be burning around like 1400 calories, and that would offset what I consume kind of. And but it put me in a better mood, but it was a bad decision because this just kept making the whole cycle repeat and repeat itself. So I got shredded, and what happened throughout the years is I would just binge back, right? And I would do cardio again, I would get shredded, and then I would binge back up, and this process repeats and repeats itself like that. So this is like my transformations, I guess you can say. Binge ate, and I did cardio. I binge ate, I did cardio. Binge ate, cardio, binge ate, cardio. So I don't have a lot of pictures because, as you know, somebody who binge ate, who binged, you don't really take pictures of yourself. You don't really take pictures of the food that much, just because you have a lot of shame and guilt. So you don't even want to relive this experience. You just want to forget about it. So that's why I don't have that many photos, but on occasion when I did it, yeah. So if you know, you know, like that. But yeah, this was my cycle. I was, alone, bullied, whatever. Comfort food, a lot of cardio after the binge, thinking that this was the smart thing to do. And then this process repeats itself, and basically you make no progress in the gym. I barely got any muscle, um, barely made any progress in strength, and yeah, the cycle just repeats and repeats itself, and you just feel like shit, man. And that's the reality. So the next thing is like, why do people binge eat, right? So there, most of like the common issues is this. So the first one is negative emotions, right? If you're disappointed, upset, you have anxiety, irritation, sadness, boredom, stress, you hate your life, you're grumpy, you'll see food as comfort and you'll just eat food and you'll temporarily make the pain go away. In reality, that pain is usually comes from something deep that we'll talk about soon. But these are like the most common issues. And since we're men, we don't really want to talk to anyone, to other men, because it feels feminine to do so, to open up about what you're going through. So we keep everything down and we try to be stoic as possible. But that results in us binging and harming our body and our health and our mental state as well, like that. Um, and then now the next part is guilt and shame. So, most likely you binge because you feel guilty or you feel shameful about yourself, about your life quality. You hate how you look. You hate about, whatever you're going through. And that guilt and shame makes you just eat more food and binge like that. Next is self-hate, right? You just hate yourself. You hate your life. You have a very poor relationship with yourself. Um, and that makes you binge because you see food as comfort like that. Next thing is life quality, right? Like where you live, the people that you deal with, the people, your friends, if they're negative, that negativity will attract you into it. So you become negative, and then essentially you become depressed or sad, and you see food as comfort, and you binge, and you feel better after that. Poor self-esteem, right? So you might try to stop binging, but you can't, and the cycle repeats, and that subconsciously tells you that fuck it, like I can't control this, I might as well just go out, and self-esteem makes it basically prolong the whole cycle again. So as we binge, right, we secretly are alone when we do this. So we try to hide away from the world because it feels disgusted when people see us do it. It's shameful, and that basically drives us next to the binge. So a lot of times when I would go to parties, like a house party, I would binge, but I would do it secretly where, throughout the party, I would just eat normal food like they have. But once everyone starts to settle in, I would stay awake and I'll wait until everyone would fall asleep and there's no one in the kitchen. And I'll go to the kitchen and essentially I'll just take all the food and go back to my room and watch a movie and eat that. And me thinking about it, it was bad times. And this is going to parties. At home, I would just do it when no one's looking. I would just eat all the food. And then I would wait for someone to not be in the kitchen. I would sneak in all the food to my room and eat everything there like that. So this is the cycle, right? We feel bad or guilty. We want to feel better, so we binge. We feel better, but then we feel bad and guilty, and we want to feel better again, so we binge. And this cycle repeats and repeats again like that. And then the biggest thing is, um, yeah, like ultra processed foods. So, for example, these foods that we eat are very bad for us. Takis, this is like my favorite food, but I can't eat them anymore because just look at it. Seed oils, maltodextrins, citric acid, which is lemon, okay, monosodium glutamate, hydrated soy protein, yeast extract, red 40, yellow 6, like soybeans oil, like everything like that. It lowers our test and increases our testosterone, estrogen, and it's very bad for us. So compared to, eating an apple or something like that, this is like way worse. And yeah, so this is like the cycle. You eat it, you eat the processed food, your brain lights up, it gets the dopamine, it gets triggered, you feel good for a minute, and then you crash and then again you want to kill the bad habits, so you repeat the cycle like that. And then before I get to the hard restrictions, I want to talk about trauma. Trauma is like one of the biggest reasons that you binge. um, you might not know it, but you binge because of some reason. You're sad is because you're sad of something, and most of it is trauma. So like when I was a kid, I would get bullied in school. I remember in middle school in the lunchroom, I have a specific memory where I was eating a peanut butter sandwich, and my friends, quote unquote, where basically took my sandwich and started, just threw it at me. Left me stains, everything like that. But that was just a very specific memory. Another one was I had a baby turtle, and my dad would my one day my dad just took it away to like a store, and I was just sad and depressed. But that triggered me subconsciously as trauma. And another thing was my dad was an alcoholic, so I would see a lot of fights when I was young and with my mom, and that also caused me to see food as a comfort. And the only way for you to explore this is to actually open up to someone and talk about it, or talk to yourself about it. Is like you just have to remember when you were a child, like what were the most painful experiences that you had, and how you just got to relive it, and you just got to accept the fact that it's in the past and it's not the present as of right now. And you just got to say right now, like, you're okay, everything is fine, you're safe, and you just have to relive that experience. But you just got to tell yourself that as of right now, in the present moment, that's not happening, and you're a better person. And it's hard to do like what I'm saying, but yeah, talking to someone will actually help you a lot. But trauma is like probably the biggest thing why you binge. And then the last thing is hard restrictions, right? So the way I do it is I would eat very clean for 6 days in a week. So I would eat mostly eggs, red meat, chicken, potatoes, rice, fish, anything like that. The reason I eat this food is also because your jawline is going to be more masculine. So as you can see, this is Brad Pitt when he was young. You can see his jawline is more angular, and I do it myself, but I still have fat on my chest, on my face. But that's the whole point, is to be more masculine and look more dominant, and that's why I eat this for 6 days a week, and one day a week I reward myself. So in order to not to binge, I allow myself to eat the foods that I want on one day, and it's like a treat and a reward. So I would have like brownies, I would have chips, I'll have maybe ice cream, but I want to make sure that it's still in my maintenance calories, or it is under my calories if I'm cutting. So I would enjoy myself eating these foods because I will still have this trigger to eat processed food. So I allow myself one day to do it, and it fulfills me, and I don't want to binge after that like that. So this is why people binge eat, and you could relate to this. And then the next thing is how to stop and recover autistic step by step. So this is the guide. So if you just binged, number one, don't feel shame. Number two, accept the fact that it happened. And number three, try to feel relaxed. So the worst thing that you can do is again have shame and guilt, and this whole cycle will just repeat again. The best thing that you can do is just relax, tell yourself I just binged, it's fine, and try to move on your day. I know it's hard, but that's like the best thing to do. And there's more artistic steps that we could figure out on ways that you can do this. So what to do the next day? So the whole goal the next day is to do a 24-hour fast and reset your stomach. Because of the amount of food that we ate, the amount of chemicals, the processed food, your stomach might be expanded a lot. And also, if you really know that you binged, like your skin will start to hurt. So like for example, for me, my stomach would hurt, and it's the skin. And also like my muscles on my biceps would hurt, my back would hurt. It's because of so much food that we ate, it expands our skin. And the next day it just hurts like you just, worked out, and it's horrible pain. And if you know what I'm talking about, like you understand. But the whole goal again the next day is to do a 24-hour fast to reset our stomach, and also to make our stomach digest the foods at a quicker rate. So what I do is I wake up and I immediately drink black coffee, and this will stop your hunger and allow yourself to start a fast. P.S. If you don't like coffee, just get a small energy drink like Red Bull and drink in the morning. Caffeine basically stops you from being hungry like that. Next is make sure you drink a lot of water. Your piss should be white. So I have a toilet here, right? Your piss should be this color. That's how much water you should be drinking throughout the day. The more water we drink, the better that digestion will be, and the more fluid that we get, the more we can piss it off like that. And then we can shit and basically just remove everything from our body. Next thing is if you can go to the gym, just do an incline walk. You do max incline, and I put the speed usually around 1.5 to 2.5, and I just do it for 30 minutes to an hour. And the whole point of it is just to allow our stomach to digest all the food we ate. If you can't go to the gym, just go outside and take walks. So again, we're not trying to burn all of our calories from yesterday. Our only goal is just to get our stomach to digest more food at a quicker rate, and also just to make sure that we're walking and drinking a lot of water like that. And here's some benefits of fasting if you're interested. It protects against, diseases. It basically insulin levels drop and human growth hormone increases. It reduces insulin resistance and lower blood sugar. Reduces risk of heart disease. Reduces blood pressure, cholesterol levels. Boosts metabolism for fat loss. Extends lifespan. Reduces oxidative damage and inflammation in the body. Removes waste material from cells. And reduces leptin levels, increasing testosterone like that. So the next thing is your body will be craving processed foods again, salt and sugar, and our job is to fully ignore the signals. If you do have a job, this makes it easier, and all you have to do is survive the morning by drinking coffee, not eating anything at work, just drink water. And when you come home, drink water and go to sleep or go to the gym to do the cardio. So the best way again is to distract yourself. So drink a lot of water. If you're at home, right, then just play video games or watch movies or TV shows. Anything that will prolong the time to the next day. That's all we're trying to do is survive this one day. And the next thing is, if you're at home all day, allow yourself to be distracted. That's either playing video games, talking to friends, working on a business, and try your best to make time speed up. Same protocol, black coffee, a lot of water, and walking. And the most important thing, allow yourself to accept the fact you binge. Don't feel shame, and if anything, talk to someone that you're close with. It's better you talk to someone who had binge eating problem in the past as well. So again, like I mentioned, the best way to talk to somebody is somebody who had been going through the same scenario like me. But again, the whole point of it is just to accept the fact you binge. Don't feel any shame and guilt, and just be happy that you're alive and that you understood that you made a mistake, and you'll most likely don't want to do it again because you know the pain that goes through it. And then how do we avoid binging again? So how do we live a healthy lifestyle? So this is what I do. This is what I did to stop my binging for 8 years, and it helped me. So again, the first thing I do is I wake up and I right away drink coffee or an energy drink. So I would just drink coffee or energy drink, and I will prolong my fast to like 3 to 5 hours. So I won't eat anything in the morning for 3 to 5 hours. And after that, I would make a massive meal. So basically, it encapsulates all of my calories. So if I eat 2,000 calories, the whole meal will be 2,000 calories. And if you're on a cut or maintenance, you just, you know, make it your own calories. And I would usually have 6 to 8 eggs, plus I would eat protein. And I advise high fat just because it'll take a longer time for your body to break it down, making sure you feel fuller. So protein could be like 80-20 ground beef, steaks, chicken thighs, chicken breast, chicken drumsticks, fish. Make sure you eat a meal with hot sauce and drink water after every bite. You'll see how much fuller you'll be with hot sauce and water. So this is the trick, is I use sriracha hot sauce and I just splatter all over my food. And after every bite that I eat, I usually just drink water. And for some reason, with hot sauce and water, you're basically expanding more of your stomach and you become more fuller. I don't know why, but it just works. And then you only eat half of the meal once you break the fast. So if I'm eating 2,000 calories, I'll eat 1,000 calories now, and I'll leave the other 1,000 calories for night. And so, yeah, that's what we do. And then throughout the day, right, I drink water and I make sure my piss is still white. It's very important. And if you're still hungry, you drink coffee. But this time, if you have a sweet tooth, you add a bit of half and half or milk and 1 packet of artificial sugar. So while it's not healthy compared to the binge, this is nothing. If you just have 1 packet of artificial sugar and some chemicals from half and half. If you can't handle caffeine, buy decaf coffee. I also do this, and it does the trick. So the whole point of this again is to prolong our fast till the night so we can eat again. And essentially, I would just have latte coffee, I guess you can call that. I'm not a white girl, I don't fucking know. But also, you could just have decaf coffee as well, and it does the trick. It'll make you stop being hungry like that. And worst case, if you're still hungry at night, you buy carrots, lettuce, cucumbers, maybe watermelon, fruits like apples, pears if you're craving something sweet, and eat that instead of any processed food. They're low in calories and you'll be fuller from it. So I would eat like usually like 2 3 carrots a night. Not a night, but like on those specific days, I would eat 2 to 3 carrots and it'll basically make me full. You want to be careful with carrots because there's a special vitamin that like makes your skin yellow. So you just want to watch out for that. Cucumbers, you can eat as much as you want. Lettuce, same thing. Apples, my favorite is Fuji apples. They make you just fuller, and pears as well. That's what I eat. Other than that, adjust the diet and see which foods you can eat every day and stick to them. So this is my foods that I eat that is able for me to, stay in a healthy lifestyle. But again, once a week, reward yourself with your favorite snack or processed food, but make sure it's just one bag or one cookie. Don't overdo it. Again, we're not trying to have a restrictive diet. We want to be clean for 6 days. And then on one day, we want to allow ourselves or reward ourselves with something that cannot be considered healthy, like brownie, ice cream, chips, whatever. But just make sure that it's under your calories or maintenance and you don't overgo and you don't binge as well. That's the most important thing. And yeah, so this was how to stop and recover autistic step by step. Yeah, so this is the whole video. So this is how to stop binge eating for good, autistic step by step guide. And the most important thing is to open up and actually talk to someone. So if you don't have anybody to talk to, then I highly recommend talking to me. In the description in this video, there will be a Calendly link that you could book a 1 hour free call with me. and we'll just talk about your experience with food and how to deal with it. It's completely free. I'm not gonna upsell you or anything. But if you're interested, then let me know. But I think the best way to deal with this is to talk to someone who had gone through this journey. And there's not a lot of men who talk about it. So, look, there's going to be no shame, no guilt. We're just going to be talking, and then I'm just going to tell you how you can improve your life and everything like that. Other than that, thank you for watching the video, and hopefully this will help you. And just implement some parts of this guide and just let me know if it works. Thank you.